Namaste, friends and family, beautiful souls, Venus lovers. I know it's been a while since I've done a video recording. I was thinking about doing this one live, but it got really late in the day and the time slipped away. So I thought I'd slip you a recording. This video will be timeless, though, because what I'm going to talk about are the rulerships of Virgo and Libra, and then I'm going to talk about the energy of Venus and Mercury. And we're going to do a little thought experiment that I think you guys will really, really like. This is Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. So happy to be here with you guys. I haven't recorded a video in over a week because I was inundated with family. What a blessing. They stayed with us. We had, I don't know, 10 of them here. It was crazy, all in celebration of my 50th birthday. And what a wonderful time we had. It was so nice to have family. But in order to do this work, I need a little solitude when they're around. That is in short supply. So I've also had to work as soon as they left. So now I'm back in the game, ready to go. Let me show you what I got for my birthday. This is one of the coolest gifts I got. And someone who used to work with me got it for me. And it is this little light, and it's got the zodiac on it, or actually all the constellations on it, and it changes colors too. So like I change it to red, blue, green. Isn't that wonderful? Oh my gosh, I love it. So I sit it right here on my desk and it just cheers me up. Let's see. Been doing the mediumship course. That's been really wonderful. Sitting in the spirit and the power, and bringing through some guides and some visions, and it's really really nice. Doing a lot of healing work with it too. So I am personally going through a fantastic time. Couple of announcements around the courses. We just finished the business and financial astrology course, summer session 1. That is available to you guys if you still want to get it. The content is there. All the modules are recorded. There's over 6 hours of content, I think, and it's a really really good price with resource documents. So if you want to learn about business astrology, financial astrology through the actual stars, check that course out. Summer session 2 is Lunar Nodes and Evolutionary Destiny, and we have the first 2 chapters out, which is basically the introduction to the course, and then everything for reading the South Node in a natal chart. That's all ready to go, and our dear friend Don Bird is teaching that. Oh, it's so good. I can't wait to get the North Node information next week. Y'all can still catch up if you want to sign up for that. I'm going to leave links below for that. I'm also doing readings. All links below are there if you want to do that. The next course that's coming out, oh my gosh, y'all are going to be so excited. I've already pinned down a date. It's going to be October 4th. We're going to study Uranus. It'll be a live course, and I will have Uma Stellar, Michael Cardigan of One Sky Astrology. We'll shout out to him right now. I'm very excited for his input. He is one of the most well-studied astrologers I know. He knows, he probably doesn't know Vedic as well as he knows the fixed stars and all their energies and how to use them. And he's got a really interesting psychological slant to how he reads the charts. He's super accurate too. So I'm excited to have him. We'll get him on live here in a few weeks, probably towards the end of September. So really excited about that. All right, I'll shut up about my announcements because I am going to bring you a very interesting thought experiment, a presentation. It's mostly just graphics and listening to me rap about this for a little bit. But this is what I think about. This is what when I ponder the stars and our new cosmology, I wonder about these things. And I like to, based on, all the information that I've studied and that I've taught and that I've read for people, I think what I'm about to show you is pretty relevant for our time and pretty relevant for our astrology if you're interested. So, as always, if what I'm saying to you does not resonate, thank you so much for stopping by. Feel free to leave your comment. Take what resonates with you and use it for your highest good. Whatever doesn't, feel free to leave it behind. You're a sovereign spiritual being, and so am I. I'm just over here talking to my computer and myself. These are my thoughts. So, with that, let's say we get into it. I've also been talking to people too. I want to get on a couple of other channels to talk about this. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. I'm expecting that to start happening here in the next few months. So this is going to be mostly about rulerships here. And we're like I said, we're going to go on a little thought experiment. So we're going to talk about where we've been, and then we're going to talk about where I think we need to go, in my opinion. So I've developed this little PowerPoint for you. I'm going to just shrink the little thumbnails down so I can show you what I have in the graphics. All right. Mercury's in retrograde, so I'm doing the best I can. All right, this is basically the traditional rulership. So when I mean rulerships, there is a planet that rules or takes ownership of a certain sign. And where that comes from is a little bit obscure, but if you understand what the solar system looks like, uh, and you can't tell me that ancient people that developed this system didn't know what our solar system looked like. There's no way they didn't know. Uh, it makes sense to me to look at it like this. Basically, you've got whatever's closest to the sun moving outward. Okay, so you have sun and moon, which are both close to Earth, but it goes from the sun outward. So Cancer and Leo. And I have a theory as to why the sun gets Leo, but that's for another talk. That's a little bit of a deeper conversation that has to do with precession and whether or not we should use solstices. I did a live talk on that a while back, and maybe this week I am going to go live, so maybe we can talk a little bit more about that. But the distance from the sun, these are the closest, Leo and Cancer. And then we move outward to the next orbit, which is Mercury. And so then you draw across the chart and you get, you know, Virgo and Gemini, which are on either side of Leo and Cancer. Moving out a little further, you get to Venus and you have Taurus and Libra as the next sort of realm or layer for Venus energy. And then you move to the next layer, which is Aries and Scorpio, which they gave to Mars. Jupiter got Pisces and Sagittarius, and then Saturn got Aquarius and Capricorn. Now we do have modern rulers for some of these. Those have just been mainly done by consensus and reading people's charts and trying to understand, you know, the archetypal energy and how it works. But if we're going with traditional rulerships, this is essentially how it works. And this color graphic kind of gives you a better sense of how you can think about it. And that makes sense, right? It's very symmetric. It's very like, I don't know, like construct. Like this is the matrix. This is where we live. This is the symmetry. And that's what I love about tropical is that everything's so symmetric. And because the aspects are still the same, the lunar phases are still the same, and the houses can still be the same, it's almost accurate. It's almost perfect. But when we look at the real sky, it changes things a little bit. And when I show you some pictures of the sky, we're going to look at Virgo on the ascendant. We're also going to look at Libra on the ascendant. We're just going to look and see what that feels like. I mean, that's what we do, right? That's what astrologers and astronomers do. We stare at the sky and we see what vibration we feel from it. So it's based on the distance from the sun. And ruler is a way to measure. So I don't think it was necessarily meant as a dominance sort of energy, like, you know, Venus rules. It's more like a ruler. So the ruler of these signs is the distance of the planets from sun. Okay, that to me makes the most sense. That would explain a lot of things. That would explain this particular layout, this particular symmetry, and these particular assignments. Now, for the most part, it works out pretty good, right? You know, you would think that it would be arbitrary, but you know, this kind of symmetry actually works pretty good. Now that we have other planets out there that we've discovered, you know, we've assigned co-rulership to Aquarius with Uranus, co-rulership of Pisces with Neptune, co-rulership of Scorpio with Pluto. And the way that this graphic would suggest is that there's some sort of pattern to discovery for new rulerships. Most of the new objects that we've discovered since 1930 have been trans-Neptunian objects, Kuiper belt objects, as well as asteroids. Okay. And those really have been assigned with mythologic and cosmologic fractals of the divine feminine archetype, in my opinion. So there's a feminine energy that's being fractalized, it's being splintered into these smaller bodies. And when I think about Venus's rulership and I think about Mercury's rulerships, I get a little bit confused when I see Venus in Libra. But it makes sense, right? Because if you think about the traditional sort of definitions of these energies, this is Libra here. This is harmony, balance, creativity. It's a peacemaker. It's justice, universal law, karma. It's diplomatic. It's a pleasant cooperation. It's air energy. Okay. What is air energy? Air energy is mental energy, right? So it's like mental Venus energy. Now, the definition here that you see next to Venus is about as close as I could go to um, you know, what Libra might be if it were ruled differently. Because I feel like whenever, and I have been consciously following Venus cycles for the last 2 cycles, and I have been publishing my findings for the last for this past one and the one before. So three full cycles, uh, 1.5 that have been documented, and whenever Venus transits through Libra, whenever I meet someone with a Venus in Libra, it is not this definition of harmony and creativity and all of that. It's a pleasant Venus, okay? But for the most part, it's an energy that's on trial. Because if you think of the Libra energy, what that means, it's a karma energy, it's a balancing point energy, it's the sun between two worlds, it's the light between two worlds, okay? So I always I'm just going to get out my pen and draw because I feel like drawing. I always, whenever I'm talking about Libra energy, I draw the yin yang because there's an acceptance here of both light and dark. There's an acceptance here of both polarities. And it's walking that fine line. And this isn't easy for everyone because we get sucked into the juicy juice of the dark, and then we get enamored with the love of the light. And it's hard to just stay here, neutral in this space, and be creative with Venus energy. Venus likes to feel, Venus likes to be inspired. Venus likes to go through birth, death, resurrection, and transcendental bliss, just like Neptune does. This is a hard path. It's not smooth and curvy like you would originally draw it. And thankfully it's in constellational astrology, Libra isn't 30 degrees. It's much shorter. I think it's like 18 or 19 degrees, maybe even 21 degrees, but still it's a short amount of time. So a Venus in Libra, this is non-judgmental and forgiving. This is a Venus that allows things to happen. And anything she creates, it's to generate balance and harmony. She loves and adores all the polarities of creation. And that's true. That's why it's hard. So she's aroused by the energy of cooperation and the flow between creators. So this path is much easier if there's a partner, if there's a transaction, if there's a compromise. Okay. This energy can be blocked, and it can be an energy that misrepresents the universal truths through a seeking behavior. So when you feel judged, when you feel guilty, you're going to seek the forgiveness. You're going to seek the harmony. You're going to seek to balance out that karma. And so she's literally the light between two worlds. And what do you have? Imagine Mercury, though. Mercury is very, let's go, let's make the deal, let's be cordially, let's be gentlemanly about it, let's create for the good of harmony and balance. It's air, it's mental, it's a higher level of using words. It's not just learning, it's using the words for a harmony, for an equality, for a justice. So I like that it's compromising and it's pleasant energy. It just feels different to me. You have Mercury in Libra, and then you have Venus in Libra. And Venus in Libra does not feel like rulership energy. It doesn't. It feels like one of the tougher spaces on the Zodiac for Venus energy. Okay. So that is one point that I wanted to make with that. Now, when we look at Virgo, we also have very different information here. We're often taught that Virgo is um, hang on one sec. We're often taught about the organization of Virgo, the self-sacrifice of Virgo, the, you know, never being recognized kind of thing. Hypochondriacs, associated with the sixth house, the house of health, all of that. But I think that this is the influence of Mercury because Virgo is so much more than that. Virgo is the divine mother sky goddess, and Virgo the virgin. It is about the sacred passage of woman through her phases, of the divine feminine, of creating and then procreating and then becoming the crone and the wisdom keeper. This Venus, when Venus is in this, well, first of all, let me back up and talk a little bit more about Virgo. So you have that right there. Then you've got a constellation that's one of the bigger constellations in the sky. If you're talking about signs, it's 30 degrees and it's off a little bit. But when you look at the actual sky and when the sun transits through Virgo, it's like 41 days. It's literally from, like, I think the 15th of September to the 4th of November. So Virgo spans the entire month of October and half of September. And this is a time when the fall is coming, when things are dying. So Virgo is very careful and takes care of the chaos energy, the energy that's dying and falling away. But she also takes care of the birth energy, the creation energy, the procreation energy. Okay. And it's an earth sign. So it's all about the elements. Then you've got 1,000 constellations in this 1,000 galaxies within this constellation in the sky. And what is a galaxy? I mean, we look at the galactic center in 13 sign astrology because that's where Ophiuchus is. But it's literally a black hole that takes energy and creates matter. It bends time and space into a singularity of immense gravity that just emanates outward, sends pulses outward through the entire galaxy. And there's thousands of them in this space, all creating stardust and stars and planets and people and things and plants and microorganisms. It's just a universe teeming with life. And this part of the sky is teeming with life. And Virgo is teeming with it. It's destruction and creation all at the same time. And Mercury is very methodical, very precise, very scientific and categorical, which are important things if you're going to be in the business of creating and destructing. You need to have controlled chaos. You need to know how the universe works in order to create within it. But at the same time, Mercury and Venus, the difference between these two creatures is immense. And I'm going to go into that in just a minute. But imagine the energy of the divine feminine, of Venus, devoted to the creation, the power of manifestation through the elements, aroused by the cyclic beauty of matter, loves and nurtures all that is growing and decaying. When she's blocked here, she depends too heavily on others. She mistrusts others and has unrecognized empowerment. This is the light that's unseen because there is a almost a transaction like nature to Mercury. It's not his fault. He doesn't care. He's not emotional. He's just weighing, what are people going to buy? What are they going to sell? How are they going to present themselves? And so what you get is, you must be beautiful. You must be perfect. You must be smart. You must be all of these things in order to be worth something. That's what Mercury does to Virgo energy. This is not rulership energy, is it? So you see how Venus is not really a ruler in Libra, and how Mercury is not really a ruler in Virgo. It just doesn't make sense. So what if we swap these two? I mean, what if we what if we, looked at Virgo instead of looking at her ruled by Mercury in the middle of the sky, flat on her back, for sale, to the highest bidder? What if we saw her as a rising sun, right? With the moon in her heart and the sun in her belly and the Mars in her feet with bloody show. This was taken a few days before an eclipse about a year and a half ago. And it just really dawned on me that this was not Mercury energy. Venus is this is feminine. This is divine feminine in all of her absolute amazing glory. This is not a sacrifice energy. This is one of the greatest service to creation that the divine feminine can do, to create life, to move life from energy into matter. I mean, I deliver babies, okay? And so this is a miraculous energy when life emerges anew. And the vessel that does this is woman, okay? And it's beautiful and it's feminine, but it's not pretty. Like Mercury would have you believe. It's not perfect. Like Mercury would have you believe, oh no, but it is beautiful and it's divinely powerful. So so for me, Venus is like the liquid light of creation. Whenever you're doing any exercises through your chakras and you're moving light or liquid energy or high density photons through that space, that is Venus energy because it heals you. It also uh, inspires you to fall in love with your thing. Okay. Um, I often use an apple and the way that both Mercury and Venus attain wisdom. You know, let's take an apple, for example. You're holding it in your hand. If you're Venus, you don't care about it, what its name is. You don't care about where it comes from. You just look at how beautiful the colors are, how they reflect back into your eyes. Then you smell it, and it just, oh, sweet aromas. You feel the weight of it, and you take a bite, and it crunches, and the juices run down your throat, and you're experiencing the apple. That's the Shakti. That's the energy of Venus. Okay. It's beautiful. It's creation. So that's how she attains wisdom. It's through the senses, through the smell, through the touch, through the taste, through the intuition, through the act of creation, through love. Okay. Mercury is just as useful, but it's totally different energy. Mercury's going to take that apple and weigh it and measure it and calculate the color and calculate the price of the apple and label it, understand the DNA. So anything that you can understand mentally about this apple is Mercury's domain. That's how he attains enlightenment through knowledge, through the wisdom. And he even wants to know about the mother and about Venus. But because he wants to know so much, he's gotten a little too scientific with the divine feminine, further pushing it back, further creating an energy of criticality and self destruction within the divine feminine. And it's not Mercury's fault. We just got the rulerships wrong. So this might be kind of harsh, but like this is where we are now. This is the worst of Mercury in Virgo energy. This is thought forms, mental energy within divine mother earth creation. Sometimes you just can't think about it. You just have to let nature take its course. There's objectification here, like taking the woman, no matter what size she is, whatever shape she is, whatever condition she's in, and and comparing her to everyone else. That's objectification. Shaming her for not being the best, highlighting her imperfection. It leads to infertility, disconnection with nature, a medicalized birth, genital mutation, sex trafficking, you name it. Anything where the woman is sold, or anything feminine or divine feminine is sold to the highest bidder. Okay. But where we're going is a realm of energy, of high density, fourth density photons, of light bodies, of being in the body, but in the spirit at the same time, which is a self arousal. Venus is arousal energy. And the best way to experience that is through love of the self and acceptance, and then being part of the natural cycles of the earth around us. There are rites of passage through divine femininity and through sacred masculine. There are rites of passage that we've neglected as we've become so technological. We've lost the spiritual rites of passage, natural birth, sovereignty over the body, intimacy as a treasured gift. Okay, this is the Venus in Virgo. This is her energy. This is what we need for the divine feminine. And so what if we had this divine sorceress standing on the horizon in the morning, protecting the young, protecting the dying, an elemental sorcerer of earth energy. That's Venus energy. That is her domain, the earth signs of both Virgo and Taurus. So yeah, I borrowed this image from the internet, so hopefully nobody will get me in trouble, but it's believed to go. And it just spoke to me. It just said this is um, sort of the divine feminine through Virgo energy. And when I say woman, like divine feminine, like men have this too. It's a polarity that's in all of us. It's just this is the physical nature of the divine feminine, which is the birth process. And you know, it's sacred. And I think with Mercury there ruling it, it's not as sacred as it could be. But let's not give Mercury such a bad rap, right? Mercury in Libra can be a good thing. If we look at Libra rising, okay, these scales, these instruments of measurement, okay, which is very Mercury. Um, we have the Virgin, the Virgo, standing on the scales in harmony, in balance. Doesn't that lead a much better image? You know. Also, I want to go off on a tangent about the word virgin. So Virgin wasn't necessarily pure, so to speak. It was more of she controlled her own energy. She chose not to procreate. Those women that were initiated into the sacred temples of Isis, for example, which was, you know, matriarchal type energy, they were brought through rites of passage in order to control that tremendous force of creation within them. As they chose to give it in service to Isis. Okay. So, you know, this image right here of this Virgin Mother Sky Goddess standing balanced on the scales, supported by Mercury and protecting her, being her champion in the energy of the scales. That to me feels so much better. So let's look at Mercury a little differently here. Let's look at Mercury in Libra as this very wise, profound, and knowledgeable wizard that is willing to assist you for the right price. And his home is in Libra because he dispenses justice. He is the bringer of karma and justice as well. So I like this guy as the ruler of Libra. So I don't think we have to necessarily wait for these new planets or these new bodies to show up. I mean, we can just sort of take what we've learned here and we can just kind of cross that off and give her Virgo. And then we can, oh, not Scorpio, Virgo. There we go. We can give her, sorry. Let me reset it. There we go. And then we will put our friend Mercury over here in Libra. Like that. So what might that look like? You know, one more point I want to make too about all this energy is that you know, when we think of the distance from the sun, it might actually make more sense to switch these rulerships because I'll give you an example. I took a screenshot from theskylive.com of different phases of the Mercury Venus cycle. And it is true that other planets can, their relative distances can change, but these two planets are in the inner solar system. They're like the two bodies that work, you know, the heart and the mind, the directed action of your individual self. And so they have, and they're real close to us. So that, you know, the impact is a little bit more acute and quick. And Mercury can be closer to Earth than Venus can, and Venus can also be closer to the Earth than Mercury can. So their energies switch. They switch places depending on the phase of their orbital cycle. So let's get rid of this old model that's a little too simple, and let's just add this one quick, you know, change to it. Let's give it a little twist, so to speak. You know, there's twists in our DNA. There's energy that really makes sense here to have the Earth Venus rule both Taurus and Virgo, and the airy Mercury be in Gemini and Libra. That just makes a lot more sense to me. It seems to almost protect us from the influences of the outer solar system, so to speak, so that we can focus on that true journey inward to love the Creator, know the Creator within our own heart and soul. So that was my presentation. If y'all liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're lurking. And also join the Fellowship of 13 Signs on Facebook. We are over there. We are learning. We are exploring. And stay tuned for more live videos. I will probably go live either tomorrow night or Thursday to talk about the full moon with you guys. I just wanted to give you a couple of days heads up before I did that, so we have some of you with us. And then other great announcements coming. I'm so excited. All right. So until next time, my friends, I love you. Namaste.